Hello students, now we start our second chapter, that is reproduction in plants. In this chapter we talk about different parts of a flower and their functions. Second is pollination and the how the fruit formation take place inside a fruit. Next is germination. Seed dispersal means how seeds are transferred or moved from one place to another place. On first page, you can see a picture of boy that cutting an apple. Pankaj cut open an apple and a watermelon. He observes some black things and remove them carefully. Can you describe the black colored things present in these fruits? So the black things that are present inside the fruit, that is seed. But some fruits have a small seeds or a limited amount of seeds, but some fruits having a large amount of seeds present inside the fruit. For example, you can see that watermelon take a lot of seeds present inside the fruit, but in a apple there is a 2 numbers of seeds. How do you think these black colored things were formed inside these fruits? Means how the seeds are formed inside the fruit. So this process is taken by a pollination. So the pollination we can read in this chapter further. First of all, parts of a flower. Now in this you can see different parts of a flower that label in this picture. First is stigma, ovary, anther, filament, petals, sepal and pedicle. We learn the different functions of these parts of a flower in previous video, that anther and filament are the male reproductive part of a plant and stamen, style, ovary, these are the female reproductive part of the plant. Petal has a main function that makes the flower, any flower colorful with their bright colors and a attractive part of a flower. Next is a pedicle. Pedicle is a stem of a flower that is green in color. Next, pollination and fruit formation. So what is a pollination? Pollination means, in this term we talk about a pollen grains. Means pollen grains, when pollen grains transfer from anther to the stigma, this process is called a pollination, and it helps to make a seed inside the ovary, and ovary is the female reproductive part whereas anther is the male reproductive part. There are some different ways through which pollination occur. You can see 3 pictures. First is wind pollination, insect pollination, water pollination. Wind pollination means, in this, wind carry a pollen grains from a flower and wind flows these pollen grains on another flower, and these pollen grains enter inside the ovary through the stigma of a flower. So these are the modes that represent different kinds of pollination to form a fruit formation. Next is let's investigation. In this activity, you have to keep 5 different flowers from the ground but not pluck them from a plant. Observe each flower to fill up the table given below. Firstly, we can only perform a rose. Name of the flower rose, number of petals. You have to count the number of petals that are present on the flower. Does the flower smells? Yes or no? Yes. Rose gives a very good fragrance. Next, are the petals brightly colored? Means the color of the petals are bright or are dark? Yes. The color of our rose petals are red, that is dark in color. After pollination, the flowers mature to form a food. Similarly, we talked that pollination is a process in which male reproductive part enters in the female part of the flower and forms a fruit inside the ovary. And fruit contains a seed. A fruit may contain one, few, or many seeds. Means many fruits contain one seed inside the fruit. For example, plum, chiku, these are the examples of one seed fruits. Next is fruit with a few seeds. Apple, lemon, these are the few seeds of fruits. Fruits with many seeds, for example, watermelon, papaya, these fruits contain many seeds inside it. Next, we read about structure of a seed. In this, you have to learn the structure of a seed and try to draw it, because you have to solve the long question answer from it. Listen carefully. First is structure of a seed. In this structure of a seed, only two things are labeled. First is seed coat and the other is seed leaf. Seed coat is the upper layer of the seed and it is very thin. On the upper layer of this sheet or shield, there are tiny holes present on this layer, and these holes allow to enter the water inside the seed. Means seed coat, the outermost layer of the seed is called seed coat. It is a thin covering which protects the seed from drying. The seed coat has a tiny hole through which water enters the seed. Next is seed leaf. Seed leaf is a part of a seed which helps to prepare the food for a baby plant or a embryo. Inside the seed, there are two cotyledon or seed leaves that store food for a baby plant or embryo growing inside. Or when the seeds get the right amount of air, water and warmth, it starts growing in a small plant called seedling. Here, why we need a right amount of air, water and warmth for growing any seed or a plant? Because some seeds having a very cold area to grow a new plant, but they cannot survive in a hot climate, so they damage ourselves and no plant can born through a baby plant. So next is embryo. Embryo is the baby plant and it present inside the seed leaves. Next is time, please. Now you try to solve this. Give two examples for each of the following. First is fruits with one seed. Fruits with one seed is chiku and plum. Second is fruits with few seeds, lemon and apple. Parts of a seed, there are two parts of a seed. First is seed coat and the other is seed leaf. Ways of pollination. There are three ways of pollination: wind pollination, water pollination, insect pollination, and you have to write only two. And the fifth is parts of a flower. There are many parts of the flower, but here you have to write two parts. So first is female reproductive part and the other is male reproductive part. B. Match the columns. Column A, ovary. So here the ovary is the female part of the flower. Next is pollen grains. Pollen grains are the male part of the flower. Style and stigma carry pollen to the ovary, butterfly, insect pollination, baby plant present inside a seed. Next is germination. What is a germination? When seed grows into a new plant is called germination. And for germination, any seed wants a proper amount of air, water, sunlight and warmth. So here we discuss some steps for germination. First is the seed get the right amount of air, water and warmth. Second is water enters the seed through the holes present inside the seed coat. As we talk this point in structure of seed, the seed coat break opens and the roof of the new plants emerge. Third is the shoot of the baby plant start growing. Here you can see on the picture of different stages of germination. Here is a small tail that grow in outside the seed. So this is a shoot of a baby plant that helps to prepare the food when a seed present inside the soil. Fourth is the plant grow in size and new leaves start developing. Means when plants started growing and the leaves are formed, then outside the soil leaves helps to prepare the food by the process of photosynthesis. Fifth point is the new plant keep growing as long as it gets air, water, light and fertile soil. Means a new plant growing fast when they get a proper amount of air, water, light, fertile soil and a temperature according to their circumstance. Next is dispersal of seeds. Dispersal of seeds means scattering of seeds or transferring of seeds from one place to another. Why we need a dispersal of seeds? You can imagine that when a parent plant grow, it makes a lot of seeds for our baby plant. But when all seeds are fallen on a one place, then not all the baby plants grow properly because they cannot get a right amount of nutrition to grow. So a dispersal of seeds need for the plant. Dispersal of seeds is the process by which seeds are scattered away from the mother plant. Means when the seeds scattered away from the mother plant or a parent plant is called dispersal of seeds. Some ways of dispersal of seeds are: some fruits burst open when ripe to scatter their seeds. There are many ways by which seeds get dispersed. These are similar to the pollination of a plant. First is dispersal of seeds by wind. Means some seeds of a plant get dispersed or scattered with the help of a wind from one place to another place. Similarly, dispersal of seeds by birds and animals. When they eat fruits from a plant, they carry some fruits for our babies from one place to another place, and some fruits or seeds get fallen on the earth and they will born as a new baby plant. Third is dispersal of seeds by water. Dispersal of seeds by water means, for example, we can take an example of coconut. Coconut grow at the area near the seas. Some of their leaves or some of their seeds are fallen into the water and water carry these seeds from one place to another place, and this helps for the dispersal of seeds by water. Now we recall our chapter. Firstly, we talk about the different parts of a flower, in which there is two parts. First is female reproductive part and the other is male reproductive part. In male reproductive part we contain anther and filament, but in female reproductive part there is a stigma, style and ovary, sepal and pedicle. Next is pollination. Pollination is the process of transferring of pollen grains from anther to the stigma, and there are three ways for the pollination. First is wind pollination, insect pollination and water pollination. Next we talk about how the fruits are formed. Next is structure of a seed. Structure of seed contain two seed coat and a seed leaf. Seed coat seed coat which protect the seed from drying, and seed leaf which prepare a food for a leaf that is present inside the seed. Embryo is the baby plant. Next is germination. Germination is the process by which a seed grow into a new plant. After that we discuss the different ways for a germination of plant. Next is dispersal of seed. Dispersal of seeds means transferring or scattering of seeds from one place to another place. Next we discuss the fill in the blanks with correct words. First is the dash is the reproductive part of a plant. So flower is the reproductive part of the plant. Why we not answering the fruit? Because fruit is formed after the reproduction. So first is flower. The dash is the female part of a flower. So here the stigma is the female part of the flower. Third is the dash is the male part of a flower. Anther is the male part of a flower. Fourth is when pollen grains reach the ovary of the flower, a fruit is formed. Fifth is the process by which a new plant grows from a seed is called germination, not dispersal, because in dispersal there is a scattering of seeds, not a new plant grow from a seed. Next is B. Tick the correct option. First is which of these does not carry pollen grains to a flower? So the answer is sunlight. Sunlight cannot carry a pollen grains from one place to another place. It only air, water and animal helps in the process of pollination. Second is which of these parts of a flower become a fruit? So inside the ovary there is a formation of a fruit. So correct option is B. Third is which of these helps the coconut plant to disperse its seed? Option B, water. Fourth, which of following parts of a seed store food for the baby plant? There are two parts of a seed. First is seed coat and the other is seed leaf. So seed leaf helps to store the food for the baby plant. Fifth is which of the following parts does not belongs to a flower? So here seed leaves not belongs to the part of a flower. I hope you will understand this chapter very well. Thank you.